The alpha for the next World of Warcraft expansion, The War Within, is here. It is upon us. And while there currently is only one zone to explore and test, that doesn't mean that there's a lot of things to test. One of those things being Delves, the new system that they're introducing, kind of supposed to be a cornerstone similar to Raid or Mythic Plus. That's what we're here to discuss today. Is that really something that we can be expecting from this new system, these new Delves? I've played around with them on the alpha, and on the surface level, they're pretty standard kind of scenario quest-like content where you get an objective, you either pick up a thing, or you save something, or you slay something. That part is pretty standard, and things progress similar to what we used to in quests throughout the past few expansions, where as you finish one objective, the next objective becomes live, so to speak. There's a few things to note, however. First of all, Bran. Yes, Bran is there. Season 1 companion is going to be Bran Bronzebeard. He does some cute things. Like, he goes around, he shoots things, he has some abilities. Some of them seem to... the intention is that they're going to be fun, like he lays a big dragon egg. Right now, that doesn't seem to be functioning the way it should be, but he's supposed to be putting this egg down that then hatches into something. That's not currently working. He also just kind of sometimes leans up against the wall and rests, which is nice. I mean, that's kind of fun. Like, just look at him. He's cute. There's also, after combat, he sometimes puts down a campfire, which you can click and eat. And if you eat for 10 seconds, you get well fed for 5% main stat. You know, it's just kind of a companion that does a few things. He sometimes just kind of picks up stuff from enemies. He grabs some gold from them, currently pretty low, but I assume that's going to go up as the difficulties go up. Right now, there's only difficulty 1 and 2 available on the alpha. That's probably going to, or that will obviously go up all the way to 11, I believe, once the expansion goes live. He also sometimes just finds random stuff. He's like, oh, look at this. I'm going to dig this up. And it says discovery. And there's a little chest that you can open. And from these chests, as well as just random treasures around the delves, you can click them and get Torghast-like powers. Usually they only last for about a minute. And it's like, oh, 10% haste or 15% damage increase. And your size grows. There's a few that seem to be indefinite, or at least until, like there's one power that I got that said lasts until you go below 50% health. But most of them are a minute duration. They're kind of fun. Not game-changing, but there's something to do as you explore. What is interesting about Bran is that there's a few things that I didn't expect him to do. He does also gather. Yes, Bran can mine, he can herb, he can even fish for you. Even if you don't have any of those professions, if you run across a node, Bran will go up there, he'll mine, and he'll throw you the ore that he finds. You can also then go and mine that ore, and the ore that you get, or the mats that you get from Bran, seem to be probably lower quality than if you had gathered them yourself, or when you do gather them yourself. But it's a nice little passive income of mats that you can either sell or use yourself. You will be able to have a reliable source of ores, even if you're not a miner, for example. That's kind of a fun touch. It makes sense with Bran being an explorer. What was striking about the delves is that there does seem to be some mysteries. I don't know how far I want to take this just yet, but it did surprise me the first time I ran through my first delve, is that I came upon this mushroom. It's a big mushroom. And it kind of stuck out. Like, it didn't look like it was really part of the rest of the dungeon, of the rest of the delve. But it wasn't interactable. It didn't have, like, I couldn't click it. It didn't have a bar or of any kind. But as I came closer to inspect it, I just look at it, and Elite popped up. And, you know, and then it was just a kill and move on. Get your a little bit Torghast power and then move on. But that was surprising, and it excited me. Like, oh, what else can I find here? And I found myself continuing to look for things that I didn't expect to be there. Most of the things that I ended up looking for were nothing. Like, I walked into a little corridor, and there's nothing. A cave, there's nothing. But sometimes there were. And I like that. And I feel like there's a hint of something here. We can still only try levels 1 and 2, so the difficulty is not really something that we can judge just yet. But the concept of a small instance that you can either just plow through or maybe even get challenged by, that has some of these variable, randomly generated things. I did one delve twice, and once it was just a chest in one position. Another time, close by, there was one of these mushrooms. And so far, it seems like it's going to be repeating things, so it won't probably be novel for that long. Once you've seen one mushroom pop out of the ground that you didn't expect, you've seen 1,000, right? It's all the same. But it's a good start. And this is the first alpha build. It's the first 3 delves that we have access to right now, and only on 2 difficulties. So it's looking promising. We'll have to kind of evaluate as we move forward through alpha, as more delves are unlocked and as more difficulties are unlocked. But for now, it looks promising. So for one of, if not the flagship system and new content coming for a new expansion, it seems promising. It doesn't really seem to live up to Mythic Plus levels, in my opinion, but there's something there. I'm excited to see what else the team has cooking, what else they're going to spring on us, and if this is something that's going to stay fresh throughout the expansion. Or if pretty soon you've done all of them once, is there going to be a point outside of gear to just, is it going to feel satisfying to continue to do them on a weekly basis, or it's going to become a chore? That really comes down to these things, I think. Is it going to be exciting to continue to explore? Will there be new things? Is it going to be varied enough that it keeps me engaged? The way Torghast was perceived during alpha and beta for Shadowlands, everybody loved it, right? And delves are not there. They're fun. They're a good little piece of content, but they're in a position where they can really just keep building. So I'm excited to see what else the team does. Stick around on this channel if you want to see more alpha content. Check out my podcast in the description below if you want to hear weekly content about WoW and all the Blizzard games. Hey, you just watched a Warcraft video with ease. Good on you. Until next time, take care.